Copenhagen, first city of Denmark, and today one of the most prosperous cities in Northern Europe, a trading centre that rivals Rotterdam and Hamburg in importance. During its 800-year history, Copenhagen has won for itself a reputation for liberal ideas and advanced social thinking. But in recent months, many of its 1.5 million citizens have expressed surprise and disappointment at government plans to demolish a unique part of the city, regarded by leading sociologists as the most advanced social experiment in Europe. The area, called Christiania, is a self-styled free state within a state, and a fierce debate is now raging in Denmark about its future, with the politicians on one side and the liberal intellectuals and newspapers on the other. Christiania is called after Christianshavn, the name the district was known by in the 17th century. Today it's not much to look at, but it's causing serious political difficulties for the Danish government. The root of the problem lies in the fact that Christiania, occupying 45 acres in the middle of Copenhagen, used to be a military barracks and is still owned by the Ministry of Defence. Christiania came into being in 1971 when the army moved out and a small group of young homeless squatters moved in. Soon they were joined by others who formed the commune into what they called a free city. Within 2 years, it had gained official recognition as a worthwhile social experiment, offering the real possibility of an alternative way of life and proper sanctuary for those social misfits the Danish welfare state could no longer cope with. The posters proclaim Christiania as a free city, and for years it's been tolerated as a tax-free zone, where none of the normal rules of Danish society applied. Now its days are numbered, and the enemy is here in the Folketing, the Danish parliament. Not so long ago, the government-sponsored National Museum published a booklet promoting Christiania as a worthy object of study for students of human behavior. But the politicians appear to be listening to those Danes who see the free city as nothing more than the illegal occupation of public property and a sanctuary for drug addicts and criminals. Not all of Christiania is grey and drab, and not all of the 700 men, women and children have come here to pursue a life of crime or even to paint psychedelic walls. Why do they come?
I am here in Christiania because I was living alone and I had 3 children and I felt very lonely, and I felt a lot of things were so poisoned and pollution, and so it was such a bad trip to be a human being, and I didn't like that. And my children, they didn't like it either. And therefore I knew that here was a free town. I've heard from my friends, and I had been here for a lot of times, and there was no cars. That means that the children couldn't be drawn over and things like that. So I moved here.
Christiania today is not the utopia its founders talked about. Rather, it's a kind of live and let live social anarchy, but it does work. According to the best available estimates, about 200 of the residents depend on government welfare payments to survive, and half of those, including runaway children, ex-convicts, drug addicts and mental cases, have been officially classified as dropouts. Another 200 are foreigners, mostly with no identifiable source of income. This couple are obviously poor, but their lifestyle is not so different from that of other Danes. At least they don't share their home with a horse, which wouldn't be regarded as at all unusual here. Christiania is also a place where strange mystical sects command large followings, where people are known only by their first names and where nobody asks about your past life. Paradoxically, it's also a place where the well-off, who hold outside jobs and even pay income tax, live in snug, hi-fi comfort. Christiania gives all the outward appearances of being a subsistence economy, part of the third world, instead of a modern metropolis. Articulate Christianians will tell you the ideal, when you want meat, is to become a cattle farmer. The reality, unfortunately, is that there's no room for herds of cows or sheep in the middle of Copenhagen, so they have to make do with chickens and rabbits. Can this be what they mean by escaping from the complexities of modern society, living in a free community where every individual shapes his environment and controls his own destiny? Copenhagen boasts the longest traffic-free shopping precinct in the world. A stone's throw away, Christiania is an entire traffic-free city. Naturally, there are no second-hand car dealers, but just about everything else is second-hand and frequently shared. Like the communal matchbox in the general store. Yeah. Hardly anything is packaged or wrapped, and if it is, it can soon be opened up. If you only have money for a glass of wine, you don't have to buy the bottle. And if a teaspoonful of sugar is all you need, that's all you'll be charged for. The bakery in Christiania is not quite like other bakeries in Copenhagen. The bread looks like any other bread before and after it goes into the oven. The customer just has to remember to ask for it with or without hashish. And the ovens are not what they seem. This one was once an old oil drum, converted in a blacksmith's shop, itself a converted gunpowder factory. Group activity in Christiania is very much a take-it-or-leave-it affair. The best that can be said about the choir and its homemade music is that it exists at all. But there's nothing homemade about the beer being consumed, or the tactics employed by the organizers of the Save Christiania campaign, who are rapidly winning support all over Europe and, not surprisingly, have 100% support from inside.
I'm so glad to live here, because here I found the responsibility in my own life that I couldn't have when I lived before. Before I was under a lot of rules and I have to think about how to live the whole time, you know. But here I can really live together with all the other people and in responsibility for the community. And here I found love, and I love love.
And what does the government say about this?
I don't think they understand love, but they think that Christiania is a place where a new revolution has started or something like that. And they don't like that. But they don't know that it's a love and responsibility and human value revolution.
What will they do to you?
They want to smash it all.
And what will you do about that?
We will try to stay here and show them that they are wrong, that it's not what they think about us that is true, but it is something else that they don't understand yet, but that they will understand later when they have grown into their own hearts, you know.
Winning the hearts and minds of Danish politicians is not easy when your public image is one of squalid living and smoking hashish. The politicians are supported by the police, who say Christiania is Denmark's biggest market for drugs and stolen goods. The opposite view is taken by leading sociologists and criminologists at Copenhagen University, who say Christiania's helped them understand society's misfits and has been a real help in bringing down the city's crime rate. Former criminals, they say, go straight once they move to the free city.
Here we go again.
Don't you want to lie, Charlie?
Hvad? Vi skal lave sådan, at vi får lukket så gå ud den anden vej.
Smoking hashish, or pot as it's called, is legal in Denmark, so these scenes are not all that unusual. What is unusual is that in this young drugs-oriented group of 700, only about 30 have a hard drug problem, and they're being rehabilitated in a converted furniture repair shop. The Christianians are now trying to stop the government in the courts. But at the same time, their ambassadors have been busy all over Europe recruiting a cosmic rainbow army of 10,000 to stop the bulldozers at the gates. They promise a cosmic rainbow battle royal.